The day the world froze. The first sign wasn't a missile launch or a naval blockade. It was a silent, simultaneous error code appearing on every high-end fabrication monitor in Hsinchu. You look at the satellite feed, seeing the island of Taiwan from 10,000 miles above. The lush green mountains are overlaid with glowing, microscopic circuitry etched into the very soil. Then, a dark fissure begins to glow orange, splitting the island's silicon heart down the middle. This is the visual representation of the BET 2027 collapse. The silicon shield hasn't just failed. It has been shattered by the weight of global desperation. You realize the smartphone in your hand is now a finite, unreplaceable artifact. The digital age is no longer a continuous flow. It is a reservoir that has just been poisoned at the source. Seal broken. File open. You stand in a silent, clean room as the billion-dollar lithography machines power down forever. The air is filtered to a purity that feels unnatural in your lungs. Outside, the geopolitical gears of two superpowers are grinding toward a collision that cannot be reversed. This isn't a war for territory or ideology. It is a war for the ability to compute. Without these chips, the modern world is just a collection of expensive glass and plastic, the illusion of independence. In 2025, the world believed the illusion that decoupling from Taiwan's silicon was already underway. You read the headlines about multi-billion-dollar factories being built in Arizona and Germany. But the systems analyst sees the truth in the supply chain logs. Those new facilities are empty shells, delayed by 210 weeks due to specialized labor shortages. By 2026, 92% of the world's most advanced processors are still flowing from a single 30-mile strip of land. This is a strategic bottleneck with no historical equal. The trigger was the 2026 export freeze, where Beijing effectively quarantined the island's maritime trade routes. We assumed the global economy could absorb the shock through stockpiling and alternative sources. However, the system is tuned for just-in-time efficiency, not long-term survival. The moment the flow of sub-3 nanometer chip stops, the automotive, medical, and aerospace industries lose their brain. We built a global civilization on a foundation of sand, and the tide is coming in. What happens to a digital god when you pull the plug? The black box, the unstealable ghost. The core misunderstanding of this conflict is the belief that the silicon shield can be captured. You imagine a conquering army marching into a factory and pressing start on the production line. This is the ultimate technical fallacy. A semiconductor fab is the most complex machine ever built by human hands. It requires a continuous, precise flow of specialized gases, chemicals, and extreme ultraviolet light. If the synchronization is lost for even a few seconds, the entire batch is ruined. The bottleneck is the human knowledge and the delicate calibration of the ASML machines. These systems are ghosts in the machine. They cannot be operated by force. In 2027, the self-destruct protocol became a standard part of the software architecture for all advanced fabs. If unauthorized personnel attempt to access the core logic, the machines simply encrypt their own operating systems. The attacker inherits a graveyard of useless metal and toxic chemicals. The analyst observes that Beijing is chasing a prize that evaporates the moment they touch it. We are fighting over the ghost of a dead industry. The power layer. Project Broken Weaver. The geopolitical logic has shifted from protection to Scorched Earth. Under a classified U.S. directive known as Project Broken Weaver, the mission is no longer to defend the island. It is to ensure that no one else can use it. You see the cold, calculated cruelty of high-stakes diplomacy. If an invasion becomes inevitable, the order is given to systematically destroy the fabrication plants. This is the ultimate deterrent. If we can't have the future, nobody can. This policy creates a terrifying incentive structure for 2027. Beijing must move before the U.S. can successfully move the manufacturing base to its own shores. Washington must ensure the fabs are destroyed to prevent a technological leap by its rival. You are watching a game where the winner is the one who burns the most bridges. The analyst tracks the movement of specialized demolition teams embedded with civilian engineers. The silicon shield has become a silicon bomb, waiting for the right moment to detonate it. 2026 to 2036, the Great Silicon Depression. From 2027 to 2031, the world enters a period known as the Great Silicon Depression. This isn't just a recession, it is the physical degradation of daily life. You watch as the global GDP drops by 12% in the first year alone. The price of a used laptop or a basic car sensor increases by 1,000%. Because we can no longer manufacture the brains of our machines, we must cannibalize the old to keep the new running. This is where the system begins to eat its own tail. By 2032, the electronic recycling tiers become the primary economy. Governments pass laws making it illegal to own more than 2 functioning digital devices. The military-industrial complex monopolizes the remaining chip stockpiles to maintain their drone fleets.
This is what it's all about.
You see the rise of the analog resistance, people who have learned to live without the constant data stream. The 2027 invasion didn't just stop a trade route, it ended the era of cheap, disposable technology. We are returning to a world where a computer is a generational heirloom, not a yearly upgrade. The human condition, the repairman's lament. You walk into a small repair shop in Mo 2038, where the air smells of solder and desperation. Marcus, a former software engineer, spends his days desoldering microchips from 20-year-old gaming consoles. He is looking for a specific voltage regulator to fix a hospital's backup ventilator. He remembers when he used to complain about slow internet speeds. Now, he prays the ancient silicon doesn't crack under his iron. He is the anchor for a society that has lost its memory. When the 2027 invasion happened, Marcus lost his job, his savings, and his connection to the digital world. He had to learn the forgotten art of component-level repair to survive. His routine is a cycle of searching through tech graveyards for the gold chips of the pre-war era. He is the human failsafe in a world that forgot how to build its own tools. Marcus realizes that we spent 50 years building a paradise that required a single island to stay alive. Who owns the future when we can no longer build it? The verdict, the price of the peak. The 2027 invasion will be remembered as the moment humanity hit peak silicon. We reached the summit of complexity, only to have the ladder kicked out from under us. The analyst's final verdict is that our dependency was our greatest weakness. We optimized for performance at the cost of resilience, and the bill has finally come due.
The new gold.
The power map, the lever, control of the remaining pre-2027 semiconductor stockpiles, the bill, a decade-long global depression and the end of the upgrade cycle. Point of no return, the physical destruction of the Hsinchu Fab 18 facility. Who survives this era? Only the nations that can pivot back to high-quality analog production and mechanical systems. The digital empire was a beautiful dream, but we are waking up in a cold, silent room. The next files on the analog renaissance are now being decrypted. You close the file. The numbers are real. The timelines are closing. Whatever path we choose, the future has already begun assembling itself, piece by irreversible piece, while most of the world is still looking the other way. This was only one dossier. Many more are waiting.